Let me turn to veteran Afghan journalist Bilal Sarwary, who was forced to leave his country last year and is now in Toronto. Bilal, another painful reminder that the people of Afghanistan are still dealing with insecurity and violence. What are you hearing about this latest mosque attack?
Well, it is of a string of attacks that the Taliban are facing, and they're simply failing to prevent these attacks. The attack took place inside the mosque during the prayers, killing, a leading scholar, Sheikh Kabuli, for the Kabul region from the Hanafi sect, but as well as killing up to 40 people, including children, and more than 50 people were wounded. This is a Tajik-dominated neighborhood in the north of Kabul, and the fact that these attacks are happening now in more regular sort of fashion shows you how the Taliban are completely failing to prevent them from happening, and they're facing their own insurgency from the Islamic State, which is a deadly one.
So no claim of responsibility, as I mentioned before, but certainly this attack seems to have the hallmarks of previous attacks claimed by Taliban rival ISIS-K.
I was monitoring some social media accounts of the Islamic State, and they were referring to this attack as their work. This would be, consistent with the attacks that they have been launching. And I mean, you have to really feel sorry for the people of Afghanistan that everywhere is turning into a front line. And this has been the tragedy for the last 20 years. The Taliban would like the world to believe that they have got total control, that everything is fine under the Taliban. But with these attacks, they're clearly failing to govern. They may have been better fighters. And if you look at the last few months, there has been more than 10 such deadly attacks in the city of Kabul, more or less in the same radius. So you have to really wonder when, if the Taliban will have a strategy in terms of providing security for the people of Afghanistan.
You mentioned security, and the Taliban government had really pledged to step up security at mosques. What does this attack say? Why is it so hard to protect these mosques?
Well, we have to really remember that the Islamic State is growing in strength from eastern provinces of Kunar and Nangarhar, where they had their traditional sort of base, to places like Mazar and Kunduz in the north. And the Taliban were very adamant over the last 1 year that the Islamic State does not exist, or that threat does not exist. But we know that the threat exists, and they have been able actually to recruit mostly from former Taliban commanders and soldiers in certain cases, as well as from former members of the Afghan National Security Forces. The Islamic State in Khorasan, which is the Afghan branch for the group, has access to ample resources, from talc mines to tourmaline mines in eastern Afghanistan, to having access, in the White Mountains to the pine nut forest. So they are actually busy buying weapons both from the black market and certain Taliban leaders and commanders. Again, these are according to credible reports and sources, people who have been following the group for years.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Bilal Sarwary, live for us in Toronto. Thank you so much.